Aging with Dignity. I'm Lisa Oligas, and this is Newsmakers. Currently in Missouri, there are 1.1 million citizens over the age of 60. The Department of Health and Senior Services reports that older adults will likely outnumber minors for the first time by the year 2030. The shift in demographics is expected to have a profound impact on the volume and types of services the state provides to older adults, people with disabilities, and family caregivers. So Governor Mike Parson signed an executive order to establish a master plan on aging by December 31st of 2025. To get input for that plan, officials with the Department of Health and Senior Services, or DHSS, are holding town hall meetings to get feedback from citizens. One of those will be held in Joplin on March 8th. Joining us to discuss the goal of the town hall and the issues at stake are Sandy Hughes, a representative of the silver-haired legislature, and Barb Ittner, the former president of the silver-haired legislature of Missouri. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you, Lisa.
I know you're involved in other organizations as well, and we're happy to let you talk about those as well. But let's get into the work of who might not know, what does the silver-haired legislature actually do?
Last year was my very first year to be a delegate to the silver-haired legislators. And of course, I know Barbara, and I had questions, and she answered them. And so when I got to the Capitol in mid-October, that was my very first experience. I fell in love with it. It is absolutely phenomenal. I did not know that this particular event in October was to also celebrate 50 years of silver-haired legislators in Missouri.
Wow.
Missouri was the very first state to enact it in 1973.
Wow.
And so consequently, there was festivities and other things. The silver-haired legislator, as I see it, yes, you're at a point in your life where you feel like you can help other seniors, and I'm a senior, and then you learn from other people who've had experience at the Capitol Hill what we're trying to do. And when you go to the Capitol, you get to meet people from all over the state who have the same passion that you do. We just want to make things better.
So Barb, you were former president.
Yes.
How much weight does the word of the silver-haired legislature carry with our lawmakers?
Over the 50 years, it's actually been rather successful.
Yes, it has.
We have seen over 60 bills pass into law through the efforts of the silver-haired legislature. We are a senior advocacy group.
Okay.
And we're nonprofit, and most importantly, we are nonpartisan. So when we are wearing our virtual silver hair hat, we do not discuss parties, only issues.
So the governor called for this master plan to reduce age and disability discrimination and barriers to safe and healthy aging. So let's talk about what are some of those barriers? What are some of the risks to a surge in this part of the population? I mean, what are some of our concerns when we think, oh, there's going to be a lot more seniors?
Well, we have found that transportation is a very big issue. Missouri probably has one of the poorest transportation records for service to throughout the state, whether it's rural that we experience here or even in places like Kansas City and St. Louis.
But he mentions like safety risks, health risks. Is there a possibility of services just being overwhelmed and not ready for this increase of this number of people who might be in need of these services?
Well, definitely.
And I pulled up an article that was in the Joplin Globe, thank you Joplin Globe, on December 14th that highlighted the community action ride system that will be implemented in May of this year. And it's different. It's not quite like an Uber driver because the services are going to be free. And so people who are on Social Security now can actually sign up to be a driver, to pick people up. They don't want you to have to be waiting at a station or waiting for a trolley. And that will help our seniors get to doctor's appointments. It will even help our students get to the college or their work. So this is a very, very big deal for Joplin. I'm excited.
Okay.
I'm concerned. It's called CARS. That's the acronym.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's talk about why do we need a master plan? Why did the governor have to call for this? Barb, give us some insight as to why we have to have these. I mean, committees have been formed. So why a master plan?
Well, first of all, we need to know what the needs are. Just because you and I may perceive a need, the people that experience the circumstances may see it differently, and their needs can be different. And not only do we need to identify the needs, we then need to come up with solutions, and those solutions may be very unique to Missouri. We just don't know. The important thing is we need to find out what is needed, and if people have ideas of how to fix some of the problems they see, that's good. We also need to know what works.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if something's working, we don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Right.
And CARS is working somewhere else in Missouri. That's why we are going to implement it here in Joplin.
So let's talk a little bit about how this town hall will work. It's being held March 8th, and it will
At the Senior Center?
At the Senior Center. So let's tell us the time of it. How will people be able to then, do they just show up? Do they have to get on a speaker schedule, or can they just bring their ideas?
The building itself, the maximum capacity is 250. We want it to be completely full. That's our goal. We'll be moving tables and chairs early that morning. We'll have breakout sessions. I'll be a note taker for one of the breakout sessions. After each one of those sessions, there'll be a focus study. Then we in the community will get together and combine all of our notes, and that will go into that master plan. And then the next town hall, and then the next one. So in the past, silver-haired legislators, we went to Capitol, we went to Jefferson City. Jefferson City is now coming to us, and they're going to do that throughout the state. It's a great idea.
Yeah. So how many town hall meetings altogether? There's like 10 across the state?
There's 10.
There's
And
another one in Springfield that's relatively close, but this is our opportunity in Joplin for Southwest Missouri.
it is. And there will also be a virtual session.
So if someone can't come, they
right.
will be able to give feedback and input online.
But I do understand they need to register for that one, so they'll get the link.
And so I reached out to Professor Heather Eckhart at Missouri Southern MSSU, because our social services representatives for those who work with elders in our community are social workers. They can come and be a part. They're boots on the ground. They know what's going on. I'm just very excited.
Excellent. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be talking about the 7 broad goals that the state's DHS's website has a grid and for our plan on aging. Then we'll discuss those goals and what can be done to ensure Missourians are aging with dignity. Now, mark your calendar for the town hall. Welcome back to Newsmakers, where we are talking about a town hall meeting that will happen in Joplin March 8th at the Joplin Senior Center. The goal, to create a master plan for aging in Missouri. Helping us understand the needs and possible solutions are Sandy Hughes and Barb Ittner, who have both been involved with the silver-haired legislature. Thank you, ladies, for being with us today.
Yeah.
The DHSS website includes county aging profiles, which have some interesting statistics in there about seniors when it comes to housing costs, transportation, risk of social isolation, and injuries, along with health issues. So let's start with those housing costs, because I know there is legislation out there about housing costs. And some of the profiles, one of them says more than 30% of the income of more than 3,000 seniors. That's a big part of their income to be paying for housing, isn't it?
That's right. And I like what we discussed earlier about tax incentives for energy efficiency and updating homes. That was one of them that we focused on?
Yes, there previously had been some energy rebates available through the state. There currently is not. There is a move to reinstate those. They're modest, $1,000 and $2,000. However, some utility companies do have their own, such as Newmac.
Yeah. So what else can help seniors stay in their homes? Because you mentioned maybe property tax credits.
Yes,
Okay.
that's a big one.
The property tax credit, also known as the circuit breaker, has been around just about as long as silver hair, 50 years. So what it is a rebate on property tax. For the extremely low income, it's 100% refund if they're homeowners, or 20% of their rent. As the income goes up, the percentage of the credit decreases, and currently, the income limits for renters is $27,500 for singles and $29,500 for married couples. And for homeowners, it's $30,000 and $34,000 respectively. The maximum rental rebate is $750, and homeowners is $1,100.
Are seniors applying for this now? I mean, do we need to maybe educate more of them about these ways to save
We
money?
definitely do, and there's also bills in the legislature today to actually increase the total amount of the rebates and up the income limits. If people qualify and they have not filed in the past, they can go back 3 years. If they do it before April 15th, they can go back 4. And your VITA volunteers can help you with those at the Federal
tax time.
Credit Union on Range Line.
Yeah, and I think they've also done some things at the Joplin Public Library. Sometimes VITA will do tax help there. So you guys also mentioned Medicaid asset. What does that mean as to possibly helping folks stay in their home?
Well, when a person applies for Medicaid assistance, there is a limit to the amount of assets they can have. Now, they can have a car and that sort of thing. That's not counted into the dollar figure, and it runs, I didn't make note of that, but it's around $5,000 or a little more for singles and about double that for couples. Once again, we're hoping to raise that limit, because you know, if you only have $5,000 in the bank and your roof goes,
It's gone.
Yeah, it's got
And then some. You probably don't even
if
have
your
enough
roof's
to do the
gone, your
roof.
house is gone, and then
Right.
you're not at home.
Yeah. Well, I had told Sandy, my mother-in-law's 98 and gave up driving many years ago. And I know that can become an issue for seniors, and you mentioned transportation. The county profile says 1,100 seniors are without a vehicle. And so tell us about some of the issues with transportation and what could help and why this becomes a concern of becoming isolated in their homes if they can't get around.
Well, and I think the average, I was mentioned in one of our stats, was like $1,400 for car insurance. And then the cost of just maintaining a car goes up. And so all of this, you know, it's funding. It's all funding. And so with inflation and all the other parts, transportation is a very big part. Owning a car is an expensive proposition. And if we can help our seniors in any way, that's what we need to do. With the cars in Joplin, I think we haven't seen the positive effects yet, but we're hopeful. And we want to be there for them in May when they implement it and get the word out into Joplin. There'll be more articles on this in the future.
Well, because we did recently lose our trolley system
Oh,
somewhat. So
absolutely.
do you think that impacted seniors?
Oh, I know it did. I've had seniors call me.
And in McDonald County, we have the Oats bus. It doesn't run every day.
No.
And it's very limited in its service area. And that is currently the only public transportation we have.
So these county profiles the state has, they also talk about injuries, and that can certainly be devastating to a senior. We've always heard if you have a fall, you break a hip. I mean, things, it seems to go downhill from there. So what are some of the possibilities of trying to help folks in their home, or if they have injuries?
And home health care is very big, and we have wonderful home health care agencies in Joplin. they do come into the home. And as you look at your reports for the state, Missouri is a very affordable state, and many of our fees are much lower than everyone else's. So that's a plus for our seniors. But the home health agencies will come in. We have concierge will help our families. There's 2 brand new nonprofits just this year, and I'm very proud of both. I have to give a shout out. One is to Terry Heater, and she oversees the medical loan closet in Joplin. She just got her 501c3 designation. A second one is Crystal Lowry, who oversees Through Grace. She just received her nonprofit status. So those 2 brand new nonprofits are really specifically designed to help our seniors. And I think that we don't always appreciate our nonprofits in Joplin. They enhance the lives of our citizens. The Joplin Globe has done a great service by doing a spotlight on a nonprofit regularly. That lets everybody know that we're out there and that we're serving. Solace House of the Ozarks is another one. Sorry, that's my passion. It's an end-of-life care home. We want to make sure that people know about us. And so I think we're going to see more of these, Lisa. And this town hall meeting is going to uncover, it's kind of like an onion peel, it's going to peel back some things. One of the things I mentioned to you earlier, Joplin doesn't have a daycare center for elders. We don't have a daycare center for seniors.
I think that's a concept a lot of people may not even have expected to have heard of. They do exist. You've run into them in Tulsa.
Absolutely. And they're
so it is an idea that could be tossed around.
It's very effective. It's very efficient, and it helps. It helps our seniors, yes.
So
and prevents them from having isolation in their lives. Go ahead.
So medical issues, though, do come up. And we always hear that seniors might be trying to, the cost of prescriptions versus the cost of their home bills. So are there programs that they could discuss that might be able to help when it comes to prescriptions and things like that?
RX.
Yes. Some of the drug companies do have programs for their specific drugs, and doctors usually can inform the patient of that. There is a program in the state at no cost to our residents. It's known as Missouri RX. It will cover half of the deductible and co-pays for qualifying individuals. Right now, it is only available to dual eligibles, and those are people that have both Medicare and Medicaid. And the income limits on that are $20,800 for singles or $28,000 for married couples. Silver Hair has been working for the past few years to try and restore the Medicare only to this program. They were dropped in June of 2017, I believe it was, or 2019.
So there are some possible changes that could make a difference.
Yes, yes. But prescriptions, as we all know, are very expensive.
And we need to hear people's stories of how that impacts their lives at this town hall.
Yes.
It would be helpful to know how really it does impact these individuals. All right, well, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we will delve into the issues facing seniors still in the workplace, those who are raising their grandkids, and the concerns surrounding those living in skilled nursing facilities. We'll be back. Welcome back to Newsmakers, where we are talking about aging with dignity. Our guests again are Sandy Hughes and Barb Ittner with the Silver-Haired Legislature. We've talked about the concerns among seniors, for some that could put them into a skilled nursing facility or assisted living situation. Are there enough of these facilities around if we have a surge in the senior population?
And even though I agree that we're okay right now, we're not going to be in the future. And part of the problem with our senior centers and nursing home is having qualified help. We don't have enough qualified help.
And we did see that in the pandemic.
Yes.
There was concern about not
Yes.
having adequate staffing. So is that something that the town hall meeting could possibly
It could
address?
absolutely address. So one out of five in 6 years, 1 out of 5 Missourians will be considered a senior, 65 and over. And so it's coming, and it's going to be here sooner than later, and we're not going to be prepared if we don't start addressing some of this.
What do you consider the safety concerns if we don't have the adequate staff at nursing facilities? Are those things that need to be raised at this meeting?
Yes, I believe so. You hear complaints of the meals are cold. I've had to wait too long for help to get to the bathroom. They're not getting turned frequently enough. Weekend staffing is often difficult because there's a lot of fun things for the staff to do on the weekend that don't include work. And it's a problem now. So as our number of residents in these facilities increase, we have to find a way to have more healthcare workers that are dependable and above all care.
Right, and we don't have enough inspectors right now of our nursing homes. And we're not demeaning nursing homes. They have they're critical to our care. But I mean, it's in one of our stats. There are not enough inspectors. Not all of our nursing homes get inspected regularly. So, yep, lack of manpower.
Okay. So more than 1,000 seniors in Jasper County are raising their grandchildren. And it's common elsewhere too, not just in Jasper County.
That's right.
So we want to know what issues that creates for seniors as they're taking care of their children's children. Is it a growing problem, and what are some of the concerns for those folks?
Sandy's had some real life experience with this. I was astounded when we looked at the numbers for our 4 counties in Region 10. It is tremendous. I mean, McDonald County alone has 446 grandparents raising grandchildren, and we don't know how many children that involves. And they may have to quit work. They definitely have more expenses. Once again, they have to be able to get those kids to and from school if the bus doesn't run by their place. And then there's after school activities.
We don't have enough foster care right now. We don't have enough foster families.
And they want to keep them with family.
Absolutely,
but
they do.
As a grandparent, you may have your own physical needs, and then it can be stressful to take care of a child.
That's
So that may be adding extra stress to someone who's already in need. And you mentioned, I mean, there's cost involved. A lot of, do you have poverty figures as well? A lot of our seniors are living at poverty level, correct?
Yes. And it varies somewhat from county to county. In McDonald County, the last statistics were 393 families. With the closing of the Tyson plant, the overall numbers are down for residents, but I would suspect that perhaps the poverty numbers are going up.
So some of these grandparents may be forced then to work, or stay in the workforce. There are seniors who do stay in the workforce. What are some of the challenges for them? Are they trying to stay earning, and then if they're a senior, does it affect their qualifications for programs if they are still in the workforce?
Those are some good questions.
Yes.
don't have answers.
Actually, I think if they are bringing in income, obviously they may not meet the criteria for some of the help that's currently available.
Yet they still need, yes.
Yes.
That they still need, yes.
So how important is it for these folks to share their stories at this town hall meeting?
Oh, they need to be there. And if they can't, let us know. Just call,
And it's not just the older people that need to be there.
No.
We need to hear from the general public with their ideas and their concerns. I'm sure you had concern about your grandmother that maybe you didn't want to necessarily express to her, but you saw it as a real need.
Well, with folks living longer, the
Yes.
caregivers are sometimes getting older as well. And so that can create a challenge. I mean, family caregivers have lots of responsibility. And there are some support groups out there, but what are are there needs for them as well?
Well, and there's a national shortage of caregivers. It's just nationally. And so consequently, that was one of the reasons why Solace House of the Ozarks came into existence. If someone wants to go into hospice after palliative care, hospice is wonderful. Those nurses are angels on earth. However, you have to have a caregiver because the comfort meds have to be given. And for us, that was a perfect vehicle for setting up Solace House of the Ozarks, that we could have the families come in. And we're not a substitute for the family, but we help that family give caregiving. That is going to increase. It's not going to go the opposite direction. We do not have enough caregivers. Even you could talk to any number of families. Their children are no longer in Joplin, or they've moved away, or their job doesn't allow them to be the caregiver. And it's just a matter of fact. So we're going to have to do something about that for sure.
So as you go to the Silver Hair Legislature, what are some of the problems that those you talk to have expressed to you that you want to take to Jefferson City when you do go?
Well, we have a process where we have our members put their heads together each spring, and each of the 10 regions are to come up with 7 proposals that could help seniors. And those are brought to Jefferson City to a proposed bills committee in July, where they're discussed, maybe combined, adjusted, and narrowed down to 24 proposals, which we actually take to Jefferson City.
And that was the sheet from last year. Yes, that was 23.
In October.
Out of the 24 proposals, how many may actually become action items?
We will vote to have 5 priorities out of the 24 that has been narrowed down to, and then if there are pure funding issues like the Missouri RX program, we will also work on that. And then we can go back and advocate for some that have been issues in the past.
Yeah. Well, let's remind everybody about this town hall meeting, where it is, when it is, and how it's going to work. Sandy?
On 26th Street, the Senior Center is on the 26th Street here in Joplin, and it will be from 2 to 4 p.m. We'll be there early, of course. There'll be people staying there afterwards to talk a little bit more. We'll have breakout sessions. There'll be note takers. There'll be monitors. It'll be easy to navigate. There'll be introductions. And then the report and findings will be provided after the fact.
So bring your concerns,
Yep.
bring your stories, and
Yes,
bring
yes.
your family
Yeah.
to share that with
On
these
March
state
8th.
officials.
On March 8th. Yes,
All right.
thank you.
Very much. Sandy Hughes, Barb Bittner, thank you very much for
Thank you,
explaining this to
Lisa.
us.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right. Appreciate it. That wraps up this edition of Newsmakers. We hope you will take advantage of the chance to speak up at the town hall and share this opportunity with others who will be impacted. Thanks to our guests for sharing their wisdom on the subject, and thank you for watching Newsmakers.